Hello pilots and welcome back to another episode of Flying with Overkill DCS World F-16C Viper. Today we're going to be taking a look at using the AGM-65H TV guided missile. I have seen on the forums that there's quite a bit of confusion going on with it. I've seen other YouTube videos where people are reporting issues with it. I initially wasn't going to do one as everyone else seemed to be jumping on that bandwagon. I was just going to keep going down the line, but I have also noticed that many of the videos that are out there, although they are good, there's a lot of talking to get through in order to get the information you need, and I think that might be causing some of the confusion. Okay, so my way might be a little bit different from some of the others' teachings, but you know, hopefully you guys get what you need from it and you can see how effective it really is. All right, so without further ado, let's get after it. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I've got myself in an active pause. And real quick, guys, I really recommend that when you guys are learning things like this, use the active pauses when you're in single player. Unfortunately, it doesn't work for multiplayer, obviously, but it does work for single player. And the cool thing about what it does is it locks your airplane in the sky. Okay, but as you can see, all the systems are still functioning. Alright. All of the AI traffic, AI planes, AI ground, etc., they will all continue to function as they normally would. If there was an AI plane in front of us, you would see it zip across the sky. Okay, but it puts us in a stationary position. And where this really becomes handy, of course you want to learn how to function and use the systems while the aircraft's moving. But it's real nice when you're first learning something new because it gives you a chance to manipulate the systems and then proceed to the target area when you're ready. Okay, so let's go ahead and get moving here. We already have our master arm set. We don't need the laser today. What we are going to do is go into air to ground mode. We're going to come over here to the right and set our TGP. I'm going to use this test window, bring the TGP up. Come over here to this side. Now you can see it already brings up our stores page, or our Maverick page, excuse me. And we already have, I was right, air to ground page. Gosh, I can't think today. Sorry guys, been a long day. Bear with me. And we have 6 AGM-65Hs on board. I know that one of the big issues that is being experienced is the ability to attack and re-attack. Okay, so now this is a single player environment, so I'm kind of curious if the inability to complete the re-attack maybe is multiplayer only. I'm not sure, but anyway, I haven't had any issue with it, so let me show you how we're going to do this. All right, so we've set our view here. Let's go ahead and power on the Maverick. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take this blank spot right here, tap it again, and bring up weapon. Okay, this is going to be our TV screen for the Maverick. Now the very next thing you need to do is you may hit this Viz button, okay, visibility, go to bore sight, and then one more time for pre-plan mode. Coming over here, you can see how many 65Hs we have on board. We can see that we've got the white hot selected, or white black hot, excuse me. We can see our distance to the TGP location right now, so it's tracking this location here is at 13 nautical miles. Station 3 is currently selected, so we're going to pop one off on the left side first. Sorry, I know you couldn't see it there. That was sort of pointless. All right, and now let's go ahead and cycle our waypoint to waypoint 2 should be our target area. Now, it's either masked by a cloud, but let's hit our CZs just in case. It looks like it's just masked. All right, so let's go ahead and, oh, yeah, it totally is by that guy right there. All right, so let's go ahead and come out of active pause so we can get moving around it. Now, you can see what we get up on the HUD while we're flying here. We get a bomb steering lane, essentially. We also over here get a time to target. Okay, so 2 minutes and 53 seconds and counting down. All right, and then we'll also get the bomb steering line, or the missile release line that falls in the CCRP mode. Up here you can see this little circle right over the 9 right there. And what that is the seeker for the Maverick. So here's our TGP, here's the seeker for the Maverick. All right, and you can see we're in pre-plan mode right down here. All right, so let's go ahead now that we've passed that. We've seen our target, so I'm going to go ahead and put us back into an active pause for a moment. And let's go ahead, and you can see that our TGP is the sensor of interest. All right, we're going to go ahead and I keep saying go ahead. Gosh, I sound like an idiot. We're going to go ahead and find our target. Let's go ahead and zoom in a bit. There we go. I always forget what direction I map the zoom to. All right, so here's our target here. And just like always, wherever the TGP is pointing is where the target designation changes to. All right. Now we're in manual mode, which will force us to manually slew the Maverick when it's ready. What we want to do is we're going to try this in auto mode. Okay. Now with auto mode, once we use a TMS up long, it will automatically do a handoff of this location to the Maverick missile. Whoa, not sure what that was all about. And we're just going to sit tight for a second here. I'm going to speed time up a little bit until our Maverick time's in. Alright, so we have our Maverick, and you can see that because we're in auto mode, it's already slewed over to the general location of the target. Alright, so let's go ahead and I'm going to change my TV or my TGP mode here to the black hot. Gives a little bit better contrast, a little easier to see. Let's come out of the active pause. Let's just start steering towards. Alright, sorry about that. I had a little hiccup. Okay, so our target has already been set, but we're going to go ahead and still do the handoff. So we're going to go TMS up long. And when we let go, you'll see handoff in progress on Station 3. Now we're going to make Station 3 our SOI, or our sensor of interest, right? Now we're going to use our field of view button on our HOTAS to zoom in a bit. Now we're still a ways out. You can see we're still 14 miles out. So that's why I'm not worried about initiating the attack yet. Still got a ways to go. I found the best success is between about between 8 and 7 miles. Anything outside of that, and it tends to be a little bit of a gamble. And don't waste too much time trying to rely on the system to auto lock the target. That is another thing that I have had some issues with. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Turn those stupid things off because I hate them. I'm going to go back into an active pause here. All right, we should be more within, or well enough within range. Now I'm going to do a TMS up short to try to get the gates to close. So they're not going to do it. And if you look, the reason being is we're not quite on the target with our even though our TGP is there. It's not quite centered into our Maverick scale. All right, so all I'm going to do with my Maverick is I'm going to move it a little bit. Whoop, moved it a lot. I need to readjust my sensitivity on my TDC. And then I'm going to do TMS up short again. And yeah, see, we're at 9 miles. This is what I was talking about. So I'm going to come back out of active pause. I'm going to disengage the autopilot. I'm going to start pitching down a little bit. And watch the distance when it locks. So that was 4 miles. So it's definitely a work in progress and definitely leaves a lot to be desired right now. Let's zoom out of here a bit. And that's a shack. But now I'm going to let you guys see it. I know there's been some concerns about, you know, people cutting videos and whatnot and you not being able to see the re-attack. So I will say there's definitely an issue with how well it locks. So we're going to come back around. What we can also try is a different contrast. So I'm going to do a shift pause again. Okay, put us back into, and by the way, by default, the active pause, I think, is left win, left shift, and pause. I changed it to shift pause. All right, but, so, I don't know why my camera keeps getting screwed up. Sorry, guys. So we'll try something new here. See if we can't get any better results. Oh, there we go. Let's move our TGP back over here. Find a new target. We should have our handoff. It's done. Okay. Now I'm going to try switching to quote unquote black hot, and see if we don't get a closure. So I'm going to unpause now. And again, I'm willing to bet it's going to be about 4 miles before we get a lock. Yep, so there was 4 miles again until I finally got the lock. So there's some things to be left desired, guys, or left to be desired. But it is functioning. Okay, that's important to recognize here, is that it is working. It's just the distances are not fantastic for what we're hoping for, that's for sure. So let's go ahead and try now in manual mode. And what manual mode will do is force us to do the handoff manually. So we're going to come back over to our TGP here. I'm going to extend out a little bit. So I'm just speeding up time. Nothing crazy. And let's bring it back around. Sorry if the video is a little stuttery. DCS is actually stuttering pretty bad for me right now. I'm not quite sure why. Last video went just fine. And it makes me wonder if the Maverick screen has something to do with it, because that's the only thing that's relatively new for me. Alright, so let's try this again. Oh, I changed it. So let's zoom back in. Let's just grab this lead vehicle right here. Okay, now they're also pretty close together, and I know there's a bug with them being too close together. So that could be causing part of the problem too. Okay, so now we're going to come back over here. Do our field of view again. I'm going to do TMS up long. Alright, and that worked instantly. So we got 6 miles out of that one. Missiles away. So the manual mode does seem to work a bit better than the auto mode does. Just waiting for our shack. You know, I'm actually wondering if that missile fired or not. I think I was tripping, guys. Sorry. I don't think the missile fired. So that was my fault. Alright, so let's just rinse and repeat. Again, I'm just going to speed up time. I don't want you guys to see any video cuts or thinking I'm having any issues, so I want you guys to see it all in action. Let's bring her around again. Alright, so we're back on target here. We're going to do a TMS up long. Okay. Make our Maverick soy again. You can see we're at 11 miles out now. There's our cage. Just tapping TMS up short. Come on, baby. There we go. Gates closed. Rifle. There we go. Now it fired. Okay, so we got about 6 miles out of there. 6.5 miles. So contrast is going to play a big part of it. It's all going to depend on how big the target is, what's around it, what the contrast behind it is. And this is obviously things that need to be refined in the release of the missile. Okay, so meaning that the Eagle Dynamics release of the missile. Come on, let's see that boom boom. There it goes. All right, so not too difficult. Be patient with it. Understand it's a work in progress. Again, I think I prefer the manual mode, honestly, over the auto mode, especially given the fact that the TGP or the Maverick automatically slews to the TGP's location. So I really don't think the auto mode is as necessary right now, and I think it's more there's more benefit to using the manual mode as there's less headache, clearly. So, I mean, we can come back around for another execution really quick here. So let's bring this to you. Close enough. Let's come back over here. Give a little tap. Gates locked. Missiles away. That should be a pretty quick boom boom. Might have been in too close. Honestly, I don't think the missile had time to hit the target. So again, my fault. That's pilot error. So I like it when you guys see that kind of stuff as well, because it, tells you what not to do if you're struggling. Okay, it gives you an idea. So yeah, oh yeah, I was way too close. Way too close. All right, so let's go ahead and try this again real quick. We're going to go steep dive. And I'm going to pause for a second and show you something. So if you're in close like this, you want to watch this crosshair right here. This is the camera's position in relationship to the position of the aircraft. Okay, so for example, if this crosshair is way down here, okay, then the missile's going to have to make a significant dive to reach its target. Okay, significant. All right, and what we just saw is exactly what happened, is that the missile didn't have time to make the bank angle or the dive angle that I was basically telling it to make. So when you're in close like this, bring your nose right down, try to straighten out that trajectory. Okay, so we're going to unpause and rifle. And this time this guy's going to have a bad day, guarantee it. Boom. Okay. So there's a lot of things to watch for with the Mavericks. They were a pain when the Hornet first got them. They were a pain when the Harrier first got them. And it's not, it's nothing against ED at all. They're a complicated system, and there's a lot of things. There's a lot of wheels turning when it comes to these, right? So if you guys have any comments or questions, as always, leave it in the field below. If there's anything else I can go over, I tried to keep this as simple as possible for you guys. I don't want to make it too confusing. So just remember to set your missiles into the pre-plan mode. Remember to use either auto or manual. It's totally up to you. I prefer manual. I have more success at greater range using manual. I recommend you guys giving that a shot for a while. But as you can see, that was, what, five or six repetitious attacks there. Okay, don't overthink it. I mean, literally all I'm doing is, I find my target with TGP, assign it or hand it off to the Maverick, switch to the Maverick screen, tap TMS up until I get my lock. Once I get my lock, I fire, I switch back to the TGP, find a new target, come back in, rinse and repeat. I'm not changing any settings. You guys saw what I was doing. Wasn't changing any buttons or anything like that. So I hope you guys appreciate this video. I hope that it clears some things up and made things look a little bit simpler than what, maybe others did. I try to keep the talking down to a minimum and just demonstrate. So until the next one, folks, you guys take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.